And we're still talking politics and matters arising, but we are focusing on Ghana. USD. How about Ghana? What's going to happen? We have joining us Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustapha Gbande. He joins us in the studio. Sweetie Abachi is also here, my in-house guest. Good morning.
Mustapha, they say brave men wear pink.
Yeah, I think I'm one.
How brave are you feeling this morning?
Very brave to see the empire of President Akufo-Addo come down. I want to see
the way you started this.
I want to see this whole regime collapse to ashes. And until that happens, I don't have a rest.
Your pink getting into lavender. Is that how you are starting?
Yes, I mean, he says brave men wear pink. And I'm saying that it's a choosing generation, a time like this, few ones to rise up.
But please.
You want to see the Akufo-Addo
empire. Yes, collapse. The empire that
collapsed to ashes. What do you mean?
The empire that was built at the back of the Ajapadiya. I have empirical evidence that there is a strategic implementation of the content of that document against all of us. Whether you like
Mustapha,
it or not.
We have to be careful with this. When you say empirical evidence,
I have seen
empirical evidence can't be contradicted.
I can tell you evidence, tangibles, of how these documents have been implemented against you.
You can say things that you think.
No, I don't.
No. You think, but you can't say for a fact that they are based on what is in the document.
What is the product of this document? What is the product of this document? Someone sat in an editorial room and re-established or reproduced something that have occurred. So if you read this, you have evidence of what happened yesterday. Okay? Akumadan to get tomato processing factory, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, but he hasn't accounted for the one district, one factory from 2016 to 2017. So this is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said in Ashanti region. Empirically.
The NPP could also argue that that document that was purported to have come from your camp on how to capture the legislature, to capture power.
So allow me.
Is that also true? So if someone made certain allusions, would that also be true?
If anybody in this country today meets any group of people, mobilizes society to ensure that this government is removed, it's a legitimate and a just cause. Very legitimate and a just cause. And we should not apologize for it.
Wait, when you say this government will be removed, I am sure you mean through the ballot box.
Of course.
Okay.
Just
for the sake of
I'm not going to support any government in this country that is a product of an illegitimate means. No. I'm not going to support anybody to raise arms in order to produce a government.
Mustapha, you'd have to put your phone on.
I agree.
So we don't.
I agree. So in that context, every government in this country must emerge through voting. So if I say that I want to see President Akufo-Addo's empire collapse, it will collapse through election. The Ghanaian people are going to clearly make a statement in Ghana. A statement that our destiny must be protected. A statement that the integrity of this country must be restored. The statement that the authority that Ghana has in Africa, which makes all of us proud. That is why when you speak, people in the US are listening. That credibility must be restored. A statement that a bad government must be punished. That is what is going to happen. And for me, like what happened in the US, to go down in history for academics, to change the dynamics of our politics, is good for political landscape and growth. That when you come into government and you misbehave, the people can remove you. When you go and you are a good leader and you repent, they can bring you back. For me, it's a good thing. And clearly, it doesn't matter what happens in Ghana. Look, I can give you confidence, hope, that on the 10th or on the 9th, starting from the 7th of December, the NPP must go home, 1, to rebrand themselves, 2, to re-establish themselves as a political party fit for purpose, 2, they must go and reflect how much of power they have abused, how many Ghanaians they have hurt in the last 7 days, what they have done
7 years.
In the last 7 years. The activities they have undertaken, which just don't affect the people of Ghana, but will affect themselves. They must go home and reflect. And let me tell you, as we speak today, even within the NPP as a political party, they won't forgive Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and President Akufo-Addo. And if there is an opportunity for the NPP to have primaries today, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would not emerge as a flag bearer of the NPP, even within their own political party, because the atrocities are so heightened.
You know this for a fact because?
You know, I haven't been here for some time, so I have information. I've been working on the ground. Look, we have Cycle.
You work with the NIB.
We have Cycle, or NIB is a political entity now. They do surveys for government, but they
Mustapha
don't.
Gbande.
You have to be very secret.
They have done. You sat here. They did surveys.
Hold. Mustapha, that thing they did. This wasn't the first time they were doing that. I know that.
This is the first time I've heard it.
But this wasn't the first
time. But they've
time
done 3 other ones. They should publish.
They collect intelligence.
Why are they not publishing what they have done?
On political parties, on how people on the ground feel about the political parties. They've been doing this for a long time. The general mood. It wasn't the first time.
But I'm saying that they should publish it because transparency in governance, even in security, is important. So you sit here, you should have authoritative report that suggests that an entity like NIB have gauged the mood of the country, and it says that the government of the day is unpopular.
But is it justified to paint them with a political paintbrush, knowing very well that governments alternate? Would it then be fair to say that under the NDC administration, they were also partisan towards the NDC? Because then that would be the analogy.
From the standpoint of recruitments into services of security, which have happened in the last 7 years. Look, under NDC, I can tell you, if you were not qualified to be in the BNI, both in terms
now the NIB.
The NIB, you will not be recruited into it. If you are not qualified to be in the police service, you will not be recruited into it. So that is just by the way. So I'm saying that even the NPP themselves, today as we speak, where do we get our information from? Where do you think we get intelligence from? The NPP today cannot orchestrate anything that we don't get to know, because people within the NPP themselves, senior members, senior individuals, believe that they must go home.
You're saying you have moles in the top hierarchy of the NPP. So clarify for me,
yes, I'm saying
the
that
NDC has moles in the higher echelons of the NPP.
This government is fatigued. The individuals who have been carrying the government on their shoulders are tired because it's overwhelming governmental misconduct, from corruption to scandals to everything, mismanagement. They are tired. 2, it is only a few group of people around Bawumia who are keeping the momentum, of course, believing that Bawumia can be a president. The generality, and in fact, a chunk of the NPP senior officers believe that, not elected officers, I mean functionaries, to call them, they believe that they have done the unthinkable. They must go home and rethink and re-establish as a political party. And I'm telling you that, market, if the NPP gets opportunity to go back and reflect and bring a candidate that will be bought by Ghanaians, they won't bring Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Okay, well,
the new generation,
the elections,
the Jinapors, the Antes, the Samia Wukus, they will not allow a young man who have made a vice president leave Akufo-Addo for his faults. Leave Akufo-Addo for his fault. A young man, the youngest vice president, who have led us into this crisis. And you think it's pardonable?
Okay.
Are you not sad? The cost at which you buy energy today?
Sweetie Abati will come in shortly, but a quick point. You made a point that you can be a bad president, go reform, and then are you by that tacitly saying that Mahama was a bad president during his first term?
No, I'm saying that you can be a bad president. Your outcomes can be bad. Your outcomes. You see, when the public feel that they do not want you, for whatever reason, it's a judgment. Okay, it's a court of public opinion that says, I don't like Akakpo. But when you leave the scene, it gives the opportunity for people to reflect and now examine, interrogate their own decision.
Right.
And I think that is where Ghana is today. That, look, we were not fair to President Mahama. And I think it was fair. It was fair that Ghanaians passed that judgment on the NDC and President Mahama at the time. It was again fair that Ghanaians allowed Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo, to do 8 years. It now gave us a full-scale assessment of what it is that we are dealing with. It also gives us an opportunity to then see what we didn't get to know during President Mahama's regime. Because if President Akufo-Addo didn't become president, you wouldn't know that a president will come. And in 7 years, all they have told you is that we are going to do one district, one factory. And they never did it. You wouldn't know that a president will be in Ghana who says...
There are some factories, though.
Some factories. Every government builds factories. Planting for food and jobs. Beautiful policy. You are very educated, very analytical. And then when you go to the ground, we don't see that. Failure. Planting for food and job was supposed to bring us food security. Today we are compensating farmers, shrouded in politics because what? Produce didn't do, just to divert attention. But there are evidence of how the planting for food and job logistics were distributed. You wouldn't have known that there's a government that will come, and in their policy and everything they do, they said we are going to build dams, okay? Only to see that they have chopped the money. Again, President Akufo-Addo will go down in history as the only president under whose hand permission was given for Chinese to go and destroy our water bodies and our environment, because maybe you are from Volta region. I have worked around
from Oti,
around the mining. Yeah, then you are from my region too. President Akufo-Addo knew that if you ask anybody to go and mine in a forest reserve, all our water bodies flow from the mountains and the forest reserves. So indirectly, there is no way, if you do not streamline any method of mining, that ensures that you don't wash even the gold around where you get your ore from. So the old method was deployed, where you dig and wash. You obviously wash into the water bodies.
Right.
Today, the outcome of it is that we will not get water to drink in the next 5 years. Today, Ghana water is struggling. All our water treatment. So you wouldn't have known that an old man of 80 years will be a president after you have accused a young man. And when he comes, all his legacy is scandals upon scandals. He has supervised broad day dissipation of the public purse. And for me, I think that is a statement Ghanaians are going to make again on December 7th. That's why it's unfortunate that President Mahama have gone and yet the light have been seen. Donald Trump was accused. He was tried. He was persecuted. Everybody accused him. He's vocal. He speaks his mind. Hello, we went for an election with a vice president. A vice president I call very noisy, lousy, and populist. Who claim they know more than.
I don't think those are fair.
Well, you can use that in the context of Ghana.
Please.
Look, when a vice...
No, please withdraw those.
I can withdraw. I withdraw. But when a vice president purports to know than his principal, okay, what description will you give to that vice president? Maybe you may advise me, but in the case of our country, when a vice president touts himself that even the works that have been done by DCEs were his handiwork, works that have been done by ministers are his handiwork, works that have been existing he has come to meet are his handiwork, I can tell you that that vice president would have made unrighteous statement that affects his own seat.
Right.
Because there are some statements you won't pass when your superior and your principal is still alive.
You know, we can say same for you, Mustapha Gbande.
Say same, yes, I agree.
Mahama has, committed to peace, but the party that he's leading, you are vehemently opposing signing this peace pact. You started by saying the NPP's house is not in order because even within the party, some things are going on. You may have moles in there. But here's your flag bearer saying that we are going to go into these elections. I am committed to peace, all that. And you are saying, you, the party, or should I say the executives, are saying that you're not committed to signing any peace pact. Whether or not you don't see the value of it, it's a clear disconnect in the party. So we can also say that you don't have your house in order. What's your argument?
Our house is in order, but up in arm. Okay? The NDC today is never the same NDC you knew in 2020.
What's different this time?
The 2020 NDC was still, surviving the shock of 2016. people were having their own reservation. Today, the NDC is united. You don't see fractions in us.
Where is the unity when your flag is saying one thing and the party executives are saying
the party remains the party. The flag bearer, look, the disposition, the persona, the character of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is nationalistic. All times he has demonstrated that he stands for everybody. He has demonstrated that his duty as a human being is to raise people up instead of bringing people down. So you have opposite. One president comes, destroy businesses. Another president says, let me help businesses without reference to your political color. And you can say that of President Mahama. The NDC, I'm not like that. I have seen people being killed in an election. And so the position of the NDC is to say, look, we are not going to allow a system where the security services go to sleep and innocent Ghanaians are being killed. That will not happen. That NDC will rise up and will fight back.
Indulge me just for a second.
Yes.
You just said that the party is united, correct?
Yes, yes.
And you say that the character or the persona of the president, the former president,
the incoming president, yes.
You know, requires or reflects what we are seeing right now.
No.
So where?
No, I didn't say that. I said President Mahama's character, his persona, stands nationalistic. He's for everybody. He's very humble. He's very compassionate. We all know that about him.
Right. And let me bring you back to the point that he has committed to peace.
Commitment to peace is different from, you know, signing peace pact.
He will do everything possible.
Yes. In fact,
and you, the party,
I can assure you that.
Are dissociating yourself from
Let me assure you. Let me assure you.
You're talking about unity.
Let me assure you. The NDC have no plan, no strategy on any table to cause violence in this election. No. The NDC has no plan to rig this election. I can tell you, for a fact, at best, what plan we have is a reinforcement to defend ourselves.
And what does that entail?
I'll tell you.
What are reinforcements?
The principal actors, when I'm standing and you slap me first, you expect me to keep running to the police station where I won't get justice?
So you're basically saying you can't trust the
That's
police.
not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that my reinforcement is that I shouldn't be a Ghanaian when I see my colleagues being killed. And I'm saying that the people who are peace actors, okay, are not the political parties. NPP wants to win. NDC wants to win. But in between, the laws have made provision that today, as we stand here, in the next 2 months, the destiny of this country is in the hands of IGP Dampare and the Ghana Armed Forces, not the political parties. So when you are...
the Ghana Police Service.
Yes, because they...
The Ghana Armed Forces.
Yes, I'll tell you. They serve as a buffer to ensure that Mustapha Gbande does not do anything that undermines the peace and security of this country. So if I do anything that undermines that, I should be arrested. Okay? 2, if we have a situation where, as we speak, they have gone to sew uniform, fake uniforms of fire service officers, immigration officers.
How did you come by this information? And how do you prove it?
Let me land. I have not accused anybody, but I'm saying that they have gone to sew.
Who are they? Who are they?
I'll tell you. Let me land on my statement first. Uniforms, fire service uniforms, immigration uniforms, police uniforms, and some military officers who will be intruding, okay, into the election arrangements to cause violence. I expect the IGP and the CDS to identify his men and let political parties be aware.
No, but this is a very serious claim you are making.
Interrogate.
And
we have seen for the first time.
But if you're saying it, where is your evidence?
I can give you evidence.
On the back of what are you saying?
In 2020, the people who killed people in Techiman South, okay, there's a report that can tell you that.
Which report?
That the police or the military are not fully taking responsibility of same. I've had the occasion during registration to speak to the high command of the military. Have you deployed some soldiers to go and do some operation? He said, no, our men are intact. Where did they get the uniforms from? So I'm just saying that we should beware and guard the country against some of these things. It may even be external, attack on all of us.
So you're suggesting some infiltration into the security services?
Exactly. So I expect the IGP to be the chief architect of the peace process.
While you've not convinced me that you have evidence to that effect, what do you expect from the IGP on that front?
I expect IGP.
Let's assume there is some truth to it.
How do you expect the IGP? If you are a district police commissioner a regional police commissioner or commander, your responsibility is to maintain a calm atmosphere of election. If the NPP would win, they should win at the back of their campaign. They should win at the back of their strategy. They should win at the back of their track record. If the NDC would win, we should win at the back of the strength of our candidate, our credibility, our campaign, and our convincing of Ghanaians to go and vote. Nothing more, nothing else. But if anybody's ambition in this election is to go and find a way, like today, as we speak, there are individuals whose names are being removed from where they vote and transferred to the other places. My own kid sister called me yesterday. When she checked her name, her name had been moved from her polling station to another place. That is a recipe for chaos. Okay? So the chief architects of our
Have you communicated this to the Electoral Commission?
Yes, I have done so. I've asked my deputy director of election to take it up. I mean, there may be omissions genuinely, they may be deliberate also, depending upon how the situation is dealt with. So we have reported. But I'm just saying that if you are asking political parties to accord peace, there was a prayer organized, national prayer. Let all political actors come so that we pray to God, demonstrate to the nation that despite our political differences, we are one people. The first gentleman of the land, who is supposed to be the chief architect of stability, he didn't come. President Akufo-Addo didn't show up. He was home taking tea. 2, Dr. Bawumia, who is the current vice president.
He didn't show up, but you can't say he was home taking tea.
Well,
I mean,
he could be taking tea. President Bawumia, who is the vice president and also doubles as the leader of
He says he had to be at the youth event at the Boteman Sports Complex.
Hold on. President Mahama was campaigning in the north. He stopped his campaign, bought a flight, commercial flight, came back to Accra, inconvenienced his whole party and the people who are waiting for him. The vice president, who is the flag bearer of the NPP, was in Boteman.
I can agree with you to a certain extent.
You should agree with me. You should agree with me.
But do you also agree with me that the signing of the peace pact, there too, your leader could also show leadership by signing the peace pact. Why is he not signing that one?
Step by step, it is condemnable that a sitting president and vice president failed to show up for that occasion that would have given us a symbol of unity and hope. To you sitting here that the NDC and the NPP are not going into war, but we are going for an election. Peace accord. The NDC have clearly shown that, look, quite apart from the fact that we are going into an election, we are victims of atrocities. We are carrying scars of people who are being killed, right from Ayawasu, West Wagon, Techima, and South to Ejura, and all of that. I remember, may his soul rest in peace, Kaka, an advocate, a young man who believed that government wasn't doing well.
You're referring to Kaka Macho?
Yes. We wake up one day and he was killed. Whatever it is, I'm not accusing anybody, but I'm saying that the NDC is carrying scars into this election. So if we say that because of past events, I want to know what has happened to the 8 people who were killed in the last 4 years or 3.5 years. What have been done about it? I think it's legitimate. I think it should be respected. Then I'm saying that before I sign, get the Electoral Commission to come and sit down and say that they will not allow people to manipulate their IT system.
But they have said that.
No, you trust their... I've always said that relationship...
That's a very good question I want to ask you. Let me just interject here. Yes. As far back as the time that we tried to remove the indelible ink,
and everything. Not us, Electoral Commission.
To the discrepancies we saw in the figures and all that. Yeah. The NDC has consistently been leading the charge to, for want of a better word, expose the issues in the EC's activities that could mar the integrity of this election.
Yeah.
And they've been doing some work to rebuild the trust of citizens and the voting population, really, in their systems, in their mandates to deliver free, fair, credible elections. Yeah. As we speak, how confident are you? Because they've done some work. They've let press into IPAC meetings. They've taken press round to printing places. Now we know that they've employed some 200 professionals with backgrounds in mathematics.
They dealt with the issues you brought up from Pusiga and other places.
Yeah.
So as we speak, have your confidence in the Electoral Commission risen past the whatever percentage it was when you started this year?
Yeah, so good work. But you see, the NDC is not, Afrobarometer as an institution is not an extension of the NDC. They interview the people of Ghana, including possibly yourself. And people have expressed their opinion about how they feel and would trust the Electoral Commission. Relationships of political parties with the Electoral Commission is not like a domestic husband and wife thing, where you have to trust your girlfriend, she won't poison you and all of that. No. When the system functions independently of bias, professionally, administratively, the systems are functioning, then you would say that the Electoral Commission is unbiased, is professional, and willing to deliver a free and fair election.
Mustapha, I really don't want us to put a foot around this.
As you speak today,
how confident are you in the Electoral Commission?
You want me to trust a commission that, you see, when I say it, a commission that its consultant of IT sit in night meetings with the NPP and Dr. Bawumia.
Do you have proof of it? I keep saying that you listen.
That Bawumia invited you to his meetings.
The point is, you can't come and make an allegation here if you can't prove that this person... You can say that you think, but you can't come and say for a fact that this person is having nocturnal meetings with the vice president.
I think that the current consultant, IT consultant to the Electoral Commission is sent there on a clear-cut agenda. Two.
Based on what are you saying that? Based on what do you think that?
Based on things I know by intelligence. Because you see, when you are tracking intelligence, it's not like journalism where you speak about issues. You will ask me for evidence, and I won't give you those evidence. Okay, because I don't speak here as a communicator. I speak as a deputy general secretary, and I'm an operative. So I'll give you information that you don't know, because when you are sleeping, I am in the field. We have cycled the NPP 360, and we monitor what our opponents do. And I'm saying that
but
when you were appointing...
you know that's misinformation, disinformation in this politically charged climate.
I don't misinform.
It's dangerous for the voting populace. So you cannot make certain
It's good that I make you know.
It with
it's good that I make you know that if President Akufo-Addo had come and picked Akako, okay, who is a Voltairean, but professionally, non-politically aligned. Yourself, you are a Voltairean, but non-politically aligned. Nobody can say that you like Mustapha because of his political color or you are NDs. I can't have that evidence about the two of you. But when he goes and appoints an officer of the NPP and a vice chairman's wife into the commission, you will open the room for people to have doubts. And by the time you mitigate those doubts, your integrity would have collapsed.
Okay, so we've dwelled on the Electoral Commission and a number of things. There's just an interesting picture here, though. The United States has decided, whether for good or for bad, they've chosen what they want as a people.
Yes.
I've already seen on social media the dynamics showing up. People, I even saw a picture where when Kamala Harris came to Ghana, you know, together with Vice President Bawumia, standing there with a crowd and similar shots and all of that, purporting that, oh, what has happened in the United States will happen in Ghana. I deal with empirical evidence. I don't deal with, so to speak, spirituality and some other things. Is there something you in the NDC are taking seriously that, oh, they've won there, so we're also going to win here?
Do you know that there have never been any spiritual projection, really, in the last few months that predicts the NPP a win? There is no...
President Akufo-Addo has even said that all these projections should be, you know, treated with.
Okay, when he was kneeling down and also Bempa pouring anointing on his head, that one was working. So, look, this atmosphere gives the ordinary voter an opportunity to say, I've regretted, and I have an option to correct my mistakes.
The atmosphere being what has happened in the U.S.?
The atmosphere that they overly bastardized Donald Trump. They felt he was a bad leader, but they chose a worse brigade of people. The Ghana situation is that they over-bastardized President Mahama, accused him, and it was right at the time, chose President Akufo-Addo, and we are living in regret, perpetual regret. Look, the NPP, today students are going to school. Where are the iPads they promised last 3 months? iPads. They said they are going to give senior high students iPads, for which reason They justify why they have not given fiscal curriculums for our students to learn. Where are the iPads? These are dangerous people around our destiny, particularly our children. Dangerous group of people who must make a political mark out of everything. Anything that they do should have a political dividend to them. Ghanaian people are living in a testimony of pain, regret, torture. Look, the businesses that are collapsing in this country, if you owed somebody last month in dollars, it was 16 to $1, isn't it? Today, it is 17.3. You would have to cough extra to redeem.
Let's go back to, as for the points you're making,
yeah, so
we are very conversant.
Let me land this one. They changed the finance minister just recently and said, oh, Ken Ofori-Atta was the wicked man of the government. He was the president's cousin. He has stolen a lot. That's why the government is not doing well. They changed. They brought a messiah. The recent finance minister was holding,
he has a name, Dr. Amin Adam.
Dr. Amin Adam. He's my friend. He's my brother. What has happened to the dollar now? So the whole beam of these current crop setting up the government is a suffocation to our state.
Go to my substantive point.
Yes.
The Republican Party
Yes.
has won. Is that going to reflect in any way on December the 7th? A former president, I mean, it doesn't happen often. A former president, one-term president, is coming back. Right. And some are making these projections.
Watch tomorrow.
Is it the position of the NDC?
Tomorrow, the NPP will say that President Mahama is not a one-term president. Tomorrow, they will say that. They will change their position. But the record is that he's a one-term president. International politics, there is no permanent friend. They are allies. It changes as and when interests aligns. And I personally have not been proud of Joe Biden's government. Right. Any president that does not give you a clear-cut, bold position on issues, you should be very careful. Trump will give you his mind. He will state what he thinks, and he will let you know, and he takes responsibility for it. I'm like that. So I will say that Trump is my choice. But of course, the American people have realized that we made a mistake. He is a lesser devil. Okay? He was doing better than these people. Let's just go back for him. As for Ghana, people cannot wait for December 7th. I'm telling you, look, Dr. Akufo-Addo-Bawumia will be in shock. Will be in shock. And let me not raise your emotion. The handling of this government in the recent few weeks, as far as what is happening in Upper East and Northeast is concerned, it's a major concern to a lot of people. And even that alone, if you're
talking about Bawku.
Yes. Even the fact that it's the backyard of the NPP's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is a vice president. It doesn't matter who is being killed, but people are being killed. Now, if you are going to Bawku, do you know where you pass? You go through Togo, you go through Sankase, and appear in another part of the... Why should we have this situation? Only because, and I am speaking to you as a student of security, and I challenge the security system. The duty of national security is to de-escalate. And if we are not being able to do this, I'm not playing politics with it, but I think government have failed as far as the Bawku situation is concerned. And that will play a role in the December election. I'm hearing that the objective of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is to declare a state of emergency in the place. But when we have laid the blame bare at the doorstep of the president, the national security, and the security architecture of this country, they should not punish the people further with what they want to do. When you do that, then you will have political parties getting into it. Because we are not going to sit down for them to repeat what they did in the Volta region in 2020 anymore.
You're referring to SAL?
No, the national security created sectionist thing that happened in the Volta region. We are not going to allow that to happen to the people of...
I thought you were even referencing the fact that it could end up disenfranchising the people in that community.
That is not cool. That is the whole objective of the government. To escalate the...
But you say these things with such certainty. I mean, people, you see, why sometimes I have to hold you back or peg you back is that there are also security analysts who have said that, indeed, there should be a state of emergency declared in that area, at least. So if the security people are saying, at least some of them are saying, there must be a state of emergency. So we deal with the issue. Yes, there may be political fallouts or consequences, but would you say that because of the political consequences, then they are only declaring a state of emergency to gain political capital? Would you say that?
I agree with you perfectly, and that is why I like to be with you always, for criticizing things I say. But also, have you heard Dr. Akufo-Addo-Bawumia, whose backyard this is happening? Has he made a statement since this started? He's a leader. At least when I speak in Oti region, it can calm nerves. When President Mahama speaks in Savannah in the northern region, it can calm situation. Forget Mampusis and forget Kusasis. We are all northerners. Have you heard the vice president speak? Is he doing something behind that we don't know? Or he is busy trying to become a president when his backyard is becoming a ghost town? What is his priority? Charity begins at home. So I'm saying that before you say that the place deserves a state of emergency, which is a security measure, what are the lenient interventions of the government that would de-escalate? The government haven't done that.
Okay.
The political figureheads are self-motivated to look on for the situation to continue to degenerate. People are being killed. Okay? Police people are supposed to be between Wale and Bawku on the road. How come, in the midst of all these barriers, people are able to intrude and are killing innocent people? And you think that is not deliberate? I should blame who? I should blame the president who is in Accra. I will blame it on the police service. I will blame it on the national security. And of course, everybody is supposed to brighten his corner. That is Dr. Akufo-Addo-Bawumia's backyard. He should be saying that, look, guys, let us come together and go back home and calm nerves there. Dr. Akufo-Addo-Bawumia should actually take his phone and put politics aside and say, President Mahama, let's go back home and calm the place because we are all from the north. Particularly, that is his backyard. And it's being perceived that it is his people who are attacking other people. It gives him a bigger responsibility to intervene and de-escalate the situation. He's not doing that, and we are talking about state of emergency. Where?
All right, so your point is clear on that. I have two more issues I want you to look at, but I don't know whether Sweetie has an interjection. So let's look at it. There are two issues. The Speaker has said that he's going to, have this engagement. And we suspect, of course, from the statement that we saw, that he's going to also be talking about the recent interactions with the judiciary and the rulings and the back and forth and all of that. November 7, the date for the recall of Parliament. The Member of Parliament for South Dai has taken the matter to court to stay the hand of the Speaker on that. It's a long matter. What do you know about that, and what are your expectations in respect of Alban Bagbin?
I've not been speaking on this Parliament issue for various reasons. One, I think that it's unfortunate for the country that we are in this mess as a student of law. Two, I think that the judiciary, I think the Chief Justice should be worried and at least begin some image cleansing of the judiciary. I think for the purposes of national security, for the purposes of public assurance and trust, is very important. But of course, we are having this situation in Parliament because of leadership failure. And I would say...
Leadership failure in Parliament.
Part of the government side. And I would say that if Oseche Mensah Bonsu, with the greatest of respect to the leadership of Parliament, was still a majority leader, we won't get to this crisis.
I've heard this said before. Yeah. I'm wondering why some of you keep saying that.
Problem in
what is Afenyo Markin doing that is a problem?
In Parliament is a wisdom issue.
I think that's a low blow.
No, a wisdom issue because this is where you display your leadership ability. Look, let me tell you.
No, but you are by extension saying that the Efutu lawmaker who is who is the leader of their caucus is not exercising wisdom.
I'm saying that the crisis in Parliament is a wisdom issue. It's an issue that one must display high political leverage. Okay? We have few months to election. One duty of national security is to be able to contain opposition, for government to continue to run, even though they have failed. One business of having divides is to be able to leverage. We were going to pass a bill. The NDC vehemently said, we don't agree, right? They were able to rally some of our MPs to side with them. Why have Akufo-Addo lost track of that wisdom? to leverage his own colleagues. Look, the minority leader, Honorable Akufo-Addo-Bawumia, is a very good friend to opinion markings. True or false?
Yeah, so, I've seen videos of them.
So if you apply wisdom, this is the point you humble yourself, okay, to call political leverage, to say, let's manage government business and move on. We appreciate the difficulty that we are confronted with, but let's manage. Even Joy, you receive your stray bullets, okay? Joy FM, this same entity was accused of removing the NDC from power in 2016 because you disagreed with the government. If today you disagree, a parliamentarian can label you as and I like the way Evans rendered that whole conversation very useless. His composure, his articulateness, the way he positioned himself, and the things he said showed wisdom. Again, so hot temper and unnecessary reaction doesn't win in politics. Your ability to go back and reflect and take an approach that gives you solution is what gives business of parliament. And I'm saying that if Osei Mensah was still a leader of the majority side, we will not get into this mess. The mess must be placed at the doorstep of a hot-tempered young man, a young man who is excessively reactive, a young man who I would say positioned himself to be very arrogant towards others, who cannot respect what humility means in terms of managing
So this is your opinion.
So you should expect
he is doing, with the support of his party, he is doing what he believes is best for the party. His party does. No. Believe you me,
I say that their
side is supportive of what he's doing.
Some members of parliament at the majority front does not agree with.
Well, there may be some members of your side.
Let them go and vote. Let them go and vote on an issue today, and you will see evidence of the.
I want us to wrap with this. Unfortunately, Akufo-Addo of the GFP, the Ghana Freedom Party, has met her maker. We'll all go down that lane someday. Yeah. But it has also stirred or muddied the waters as far as the election is concerned. Roman Father, as he's called, his alias, supposedly has replaced her, filed, but other elements, family members are saying no. I mean, what could be the fallout from that, the dynamics? And some have purported that could end up shaking the numbers and affecting your number 8. Just quick thoughts on that. What are the permutations? And we're going.
I'll say this on the basis of experience and persuasion. Madame Akufo-Addo is by far the Yasantua in our politics today. A woman from nowhere, she wants to do what the giants will do, okay? And she's done it. She's been in the business. At best, we should respect her memory and the legacy she's left. The political party is a political party, registered, gazetted, accepted by the Electoral Commission. Family business remains family business. President Mahama doesn't run the party with his family. President Akufo-Addo or Dr. Bawumia doesn't run his family, his NPP party with a family. Don't forget, when you are a leader of a political party, you are detached from the administration of the party. If President Mahama wants to do something, he falls on the General Secretary and the National Chairman to get it done. Even your auxiliaries around you do not have portfolio to manage a political party. The party is structured.
So the point is?
So if the General Secretary, who is the chief administrator of the party, with the clear consent and involvement of the heir apparent, the running mate, we all know, forget who he is, decides to say, I'll come forward. A national organizer doesn't have the locus to write a letter to Electoral Commission saying we are withdrawing. In a proper political party, he should be suspended. And such
but for the sake of time, so just to hit the nail on the head, assuming the EC decides, okay, so this letter has come to us and we indeed are of the opinion that it's an option they could trigger, what then happens? Would you call for a new balloting or would there just be a replacement, which would then mean that maybe you would go to number 7 and all of that? What would that mean for the
2024 election is not going to be won on the basis of numbers. It has never happened that.
So you are open to a change of the number?
We are overemphasizing on numbers. But you know why we are overemphasizing? Because a certain political party printed 9 million worth of paraphernalia, embodying breaking the 8, and they lost the 8. So they have never relented. The 8 is with the NDC now. 9 million worth of party paraphernalia gone waste. They are
how did you get to know that one too?
I keep
intelligence,
when I work in here.
Okay.
We know where they sleep. We know
I
where.
get it.
So
I
you
get
see,
it. Okay.
the NPP is behind all these things that is going on in the Ekweadonkos party to try and see how they can get the EC to change and all. But don't forget, we have printed, God punish them, we have printed 90% of the presidential ballots. If you do cost and benefit analysis, the implication on the country's budget and the budget of the Electoral Commission, nobody should be entertaining this conversation. I think that the national organizer should not even be entertained on your show. He is in a business of insubordination, disrespect to party administration, and should be sanctioned by his party.
I think
nobody should entertain
we'll end it
that
here.
conversation.
We'll end it here. Well, thank you very much.
Tell the MPP to stick to their number one, and let us go into an election where the voting will be based on issues. Number one will not look. Dr. Bawumia was handed over a whole country.
Okay,
he messed this up. He's now managing the country with a call. What do they call? Call center. Call center.
It is.
He's saying call center will make him a president.
Mustapha Gbande is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, and I had my own in-house guest who keeps smiling, Sweetie Abochi.
She likes the conversation
as well.
Don't you?
Now, we're going to take a bit of a breather. When we return, we also want to take your thoughts on the new curricula as proposed. What are your thoughts on them? Some parents seem to be confused about it. We'll be taking your thoughts on that. You know that number to call. That number will be flashing under your screen after the break. Do stay.